How clear are you on exactly what you want? How you end this year is how you're going to start next year. So you've heard me for the past probably couple weeks saying, hey, did you write down your goals? Have you written down what you want your life to look like? Have you written down what it looks like in your finances? Have you written it down? This is just a reminder if you haven't gotten to that, that it's time. ET is just reminding you. And again, putting these things in perspective. Too many times we've grown up, or a lot of times we grow up in this mindset of money is the root of all evil, and I shouldn't be thinking about money, and I don't need a lot, and all those types of things. Limiting beliefs. You need money to be able to live the life that you want. Money gives you options. I have to teach this to children, right? I have to teach this to children so that they understand, so they don't get programmed with what money is actually for. Money gives you options. That's all. It's literally that simple, right? Less money, less options. Right? If you have less money, you can't really choose where you get healthcare. You just get the healthcare you get. You can't really choose where you want to live. You just kind of live where you want, right? Like you can't choose. You don't have an option to send your kids to nicer schools. Like you just don't have the options to do it. More money, more options. You can do more things. That's it. It's just a tool. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just a thing. So that's why you should be thinking about it. You should be talking about it. You should be writing it down. You should have an actual desired outcome. That's what ET said. A desired outcome. What does that look like for you in your financial life? Write the number down. Start to look at it. Start to think about how do we get to that? Why? Because you have people you want to go bless. You have things you want to do. You need options. You need options. We live in a society that we can get options if you got some money. So again, desired outcomes, desired outcomes. What are the desired outcomes in your family life, in your relationships? Like, do you have these things written down? Do you understand exactly what you're waking up to go do every day? He talked about that engine. He said most people can't get going because they don't have an engine. They don't have something that's driving them, that's pushing them every day. That's where you have to tap into your own right kind of emotional motivators. That's what it talks about in the book that we always read. It talks about your own emotional motivators. Can you tap into those things in your faith life, in your family life, in your health? Health is wealth. So what are your health goals? What are the things that you're clear about when it comes to being intentional about your health? ET said, hey, I want to make sure my blood work comes back good. It's funny, I was just talking to my wife about this. We just had some birthdays, and I was like, hey, I want to get one of those. There's like these, again, money brings you options, right? You don't just take the tests that the doctors give you, because the test that the doctors give you has to be paid through insurance. So they only give you limited amount of testing. There are right actual tests that you can pay for. I know one that's $500 a person, right? $500. They take your blood and they do like 87 different like tests on the blood, right? All the different things, not just the things that doctors will tell you in your annual physical that comes through, right? When rich people have a different level of healthcare, they know they can predict things a lot sooner because they have money to have options to test their blood and get right MRIs and all the stuff done before having to like, go through that process. I was just talking to my wife about this. We're probably going to do it coming up at the beginning of this year. We're going to order the kits, right? It's $500 a piece. It's $1,000 so that we can make sure that we're healthy going into 2026, or at least we know what we got to work on outside of our doctor, outside of our health care, right? Are you that clear? Like, are you clear on like what you want to make happen in your health? Like, it's important. Health is wealth. Health is wealth. So you got to go do some of these things. But again, it's about your desired outcomes. The thing I want to hone in on is actually the first thing that ET talked about when we first turned on the video. He said, you don't need a cheerleader. You don't need a cheerleader to get to your goals. You need a coach. You need some people that hold you accountable. You don't need the people that rub your back. You need the people that push you to get to that place. He said something in there. He said, you can't give your ideas just to your family and friends. You got to give your ideas to people that can make your ideas come to life. Sometimes we share our ideas with the wrong people. We share them with people that have limited thinking. We share them with people that can't actually help us. We most times share our ideas with people that deter us from the ideas that we have, right? That's just the nature of what we do. Because I don't, right? Makes us uncomfortable. I'm not sure, right? But at the end of the day, I want y'all to be mindful as you're putting down these desired outcomes, as you really get clarity around what it is that you want. You're going to have some ideas that pop up. You're going to have some things that you're going to think about that if you share them with the wrong people, if you put them in the hands of the wrong people, they will kill that dream. They will kill that goal. They will not see your ideas. They'll tell you it's stupid. It's unattainable. Those types of things happen all the time. But ideas are the key to your success, right? Now, this talks about it, right? In the book here, we're going to read, going to talk about it from like a money perspective. But I want y'all to know like the ideas you have about your health life, the ideas you have around your financial life, the ideas you have around your faith life and all of the other areas, like that is how you succeed. It starts with the idea. What do you want? What do you see in your mind's eye? Like what can you see? Ideas are the beginning of everything that's great. Everything that we see physically out here in the world that we can hold in our hand actually was once an idea. It was in somebody's mind. And then they made it a reality. Well, that's the formula for you to do the same thing for your life. Once it starts in your mind, and that's why getting clear on exactly what you want, exactly the ideas that you have and the things that you can see, then we get them into the physical realm, the physical plane, and we start to be able to hold them with our hands. So in our text, 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, it says the world class knows great ideas are the solution to success. It says here, it says ideas are the business champion's primary asset. They have the power to alter the world for the better. Average people greatly underestimate the potential value of their own ideas. Say that again. The average people greatly underestimate the potential value of their own ideas. Professional performers know money will flow from any idea that solves a problem, and the bigger the problem, the richer the payoff. Champions cultivate their own ideas and the ideas of other world-class performers. The great ones are always engaged in critical thinking as it relates to problem solving, and as a result, treat ideas with the respect they deserve. Amateur performers tend to dismiss many ideas before they have a chance to be properly evaluated and tested. When things get tough, the masses turn to others for help. When times get tough for champions, they turn their attention to the inner workings of their minds so that they can capture and cultivate great ideas that can help turn things around. Average performers turn to outside sources when money gets tight, but the great ones get quiet and focus on their thoughts and feelings, looking for ideas on how to raise money fast. Most people never take their ideas beyond the talking stage, but if champions believe in the idea, they move to the next step without hesitation. Ideas are the foundation, right? The groundwork to like you getting to the life that you want. Again, we heard ET. We're talking about desired outcomes and all the things that we want. Yes, you got to get clear on those things. But you also have all of these ideas. Like, and if you don't, right, I would challenge you and encourage you to sit with yourself a little bit more. Stop taking in some of the noise. Stop taking in some of the inputs so that you can now start to think a bit and then start feeding yourself the things that help develop those thoughts. They help develop those ideas. I've been on an AI kick for probably the past like 3-4 months, right? Learning AI and automation and all that type of stuff. Where'd it come from? It came from an idea I had of a business I wanted to start, and I didn't know how to put it together. So I started to learn, I started to take in inputs that would help me cultivate that idea so that I can physically put it out. Ideas are the beginning of everything. And just like ET said in the video, you can't give your ideas to everyone. You can't tell your big dreams to small-minded people. It doesn't mean you tell them to no one, because you need people. You need people to make your ideas become a reality. You need people that, if you have an idea about what your family life should look like, you need to be able to give that to someone to help you get to that ideal life with your family. Ideally, somebody that has done that before in their family life. Same thing in business. If you want to build a business, you want to start something, if you have an idea about it, you got to take that idea to people that can then make something happen with that. But ideas are the beginning stages to all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Again, these are reminders. These are things that you're going to constantly hear over and over again. But this is what helps you get clarity. If any of us struggle with clarity, like you don't really know what you want, you don't really know, what you want in your financial life or your health life or your faith life or your relationships or any of the stuff we're talking about, then you have to learn how to tap into your mind. You have to learn how to get quiet, like it says in here. When it gets tight, the great ones get quiet and focus on their thoughts and feelings. Like you have to slow yourself down and you have to focus. You have to get locked in mentally. This is going to help. Again, this is going to help you as you head into 2026. This is going to help you start to figure out, okay, what do I need? How do I get more clear? How do I get more clarity around my life? How do I get more clarity around my goals and dreams? I got to tap in. I got to spend some time with myself. I got to figure out what's going on in my thoughts. I got to pay attention to my thought life. Metacognition. I got to start thinking about what I'm thinking about. I got to understand how my thoughts turn into feelings. And then I got to start to create some of these ideas that I have, these things that God keeps popping into my mind. I have to start to activate that stuff. How? I get it in the hands of competent people. I share my vision. I have a vision. I write it down. I have an idea. I write and I share it with competent people that can help me, not just my family and friends that you want their validation as a cheerleader. ET said, you don't need a cheerleader. You don't need someone cheering you on, right? You should have that internal engine. What did ET say in the video, right? Like you have to understand. He was basically saying you got to understand why you're doing these things. You're not doing these things for money. You're doing these things to build the capacity to be the man or woman that handles all of these things, that blesses other people, that takes care of their family, that takes care of their extended family, the loved ones that are around. Like ET said, right? I put my kids through college, but then I had people around me that their parents couldn't do that, so I had to put their kids through college. What if that were you? What do I tell y'all all the time when we end these calls? I say, people are counting on you. You don't know that they're counting on you yet, but they're counting on you. There's going to come a point in time where, like, because you guys have this information, because you've been working on yourself, because you've been learning and growing and becoming more, stretching yourself, challenging yourself, climbing the mountain, getting better tools, because you're doing that, the people that are not doing that are going to count on you. They're going to count on you, right? That analogy of climbing a mountain, if you climb, big mountains, Everest and all this stuff, like you have to have like a guide. Like you have to have somebody that's done it a bunch of times, that like you're counting on them to like lead you in the right direction, to tell you exactly kind of that's how this is working. The reason you're on these calls, the reason you're here and your cousin's not here, or like, your best friend's not on the call, or your parent isn't on it's because like you're meant to get the information. You're meant to grow. You're meant to build your capacity so you can put them on your back, so you can climb the mountain and be the guide for your family. But you got to start to get clear about this stuff. You got to start to have some clarity and be intentional about saying, hey, I got some ideas. Let me put these in the hands of some people that I know can help me with this stuff, that I know can help me get out of the situations I'm in, the mindsets I'm in, the habits I'm in, and move to this next stage. The ideas are the solution to success, that like we just read. So again, as you're going down this path, ladies and gentlemen, of getting clear for what's coming up next year, of getting clear of what you actually want, take some time, sit with yourself, know that your ideas are real, your visions are real. Those are things that are real to you. Now we just have to go make them a reality out in the world. The action step for today says commit to treat your ideas as if they were the children of your soul. Commit to treat your ideas as if they were the children of your soul. The ideas that you have are precious to you. And God gave them to you so that you can get them to the world. But you got to know what you want. Be intentional about the life you're asking for. You got to be intentional about what these things look like in your faith life, financial life, health life, relationships, all the stuff. You got to be intentional about this stuff, y'all. You'll hear me say the same stuff over and over again because this is the stuff that actually matters. I don't know what they're talking about on the news today. I have no idea. But that stuff probably doesn't matter as much as this stuff that we're talking about right now. We got to lock in. You deserve to get to the life you don't need a break from. It's just going to take some work, y'all. All right. I love you guys. Go out, do something today that scares you, do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Make sure that you know and you're intentional about the life that you're asking for and the work that we got to do to go after it and make it happen.